Hello guys, and welcome to part 1 of my ModPack demonstration video. For part 1 I will be going over mods that affect the garage or the hangar, and part 2 will be a separate video of actual game footage displaying the mods that are included in the ModPack. So to begin, you will have noticed a couple of changes already from the vanilla game. Number 1 is the custom IGR tech hanger that I am using. From my understanding, this is actually a wargaming hanger, but it has been edited by Grandpa from Curse Mods, and it's a pretty good looking hanger. And if you don't like the flags or the banners inside of it and you have Photoshop, you can edit those pretty easily for yourself. Moving on to the tank carousel at the bottom here. This is a 2-row carousel, and it's got a couple of neat customization filters here. So some of these are vanilla filters from the vanilla game, such as class filter, nation filter, and primary and reserve tank filter. But there are 2 custom ones from the carousel mod that I've added, and one of them is a tier selector filter. So you select which tier you want to show up, and it is pretty straightforward. And there is also a pretty neat daily double filter. So as you can see, I do not have the daily double available on my E75. When I hit this filter button, that E75 will disappear, and you are only left with tanks that have daily double left. And also, if you look closely at the tanks here, you'll see that the icons are custom as well. So each nation has their own separate camouflage pattern for the tank icons on the carousel. So for example, if I click on Germany, you'll see that the German tanks have a urban undertone or overtone of camouflage, a more gray and brown type ordeal. Then if you click on France, for example, you see the blue and gray traditional NATO camouflage. And also for the USSR, you have the traditional green and brown woodlands camouflage. And there's a separate camouflage type for each nation. Now, these icon skins here are only applicable inside the garage. So they only apply inside the tank carousel here. They'll also apply on the service record list right here. And you can see also that I've got an XVM configuration here, which I'll go over in more detail in a moment. And lastly, those custom tank icons also apply to the tech tree, which leads me to my next point, the vertical tech tree by Reconnaissance on the EU server. This is the best tech tree that I've found. It comes with its own custom installer, and it gives you some customizable options within the installer. You can see that the premiums for each nation are listed horizontally along the bottom of the tree. And you can also see that each tank that you own or have in your garage is highlighted in orange. And overall, it's just a very clean, very aesthetically pleasing tech tree. I also have some custom icons here for different equipment, which you can see here. Now, not all of these are custom. I think the spall liner is default, and the gun rammer might be the vanilla texture, I can't tell, but most of these are custom icons. I also have custom shell icons, as you can see. And I also have custom icons for consumables. And I've not taken these custom icons from a single icon pack. I've mixed and chosen from, I believe, 3 different icon packages. So all that information, if you're curious, will be listed in the documentation that you download with the ModPack. Alright, and a couple other things too. There are, at this point, 3 custom remodels for tanks that I commonly use. Number 1 is for the Leo 1. You can see that it has a custom remodel. It's a pretty sleek looking remodel in my opinion. I like the side skirts on it, and the turret looks a lot better. The second remodel that I'm using is for the Waffenträger E100, and I think this one looks a lot neater than the original. It does have a lot bigger turret than the vanilla mesh texture, but even though it's bigger here, it really doesn't affect gameplay at all. It just looks nice. And the third remodel is for the E75, and this one's mostly just aesthetic, more so than the other 2. It's got a bunch of you got some oil tanks or gas canisters on the back here, additional track rivets, some kill loops on the gun. It's got some neat headlights here. I would assume that this would be a night vision scope, an infrared, and it's just got a bunch more detail than the vanilla texture. Now, I plan to change the color of these loops. I think the yellow stands out too much. It kind of ruins a camo a little bit, so I'll eventually get around to editing that. But for now, this is good enough. And those are the 3 custom remodels that I'm using currently, and all 3 of those are optional, and it'll be clearly optional in the download if you download the ModPack. So if you don't like them, or if you only like, say, 1 or 2 of them, you can completely ignore them or pick and choose which ones you want. Okay, I think that about covers everything in the garage. I'll go ahead and go over some of the XVM configurations here. I have a completely custom XVM configuration file that I built from the ground up. A couple of changes that you can see. Number 1 is the server ping here. Both of these are usually working, but it looks like the North American servers since 8.11 dropped have been having pretty bad disconnect and packet loss issues, so it's having a little bit of trouble this morning, but I can assure you when the servers are working properly, these readouts both work. In addition, there are some additional statistics in the service records section from XVM. You get a bunch of extra data here, and you get color coding of win rates here, and you can click on individual tanks. You can sort them however you want, and as you can see, XVM just provides a wealth of information if you're interested in the statistics of how you're doing. So I believe that wraps it up for the first part of this demonstration video. Again, this is only showing off how my ModPack will affect inside the garage. Part 2 will demonstrate how the ModPack affects actual gameplay. So stay tuned for part 2. And as always, if you have questions or comments, please either leave them in the comment section below on my YouTube channel, or find the thread where I upload my ModPack to the World of Tanks forums, and you can comment on that thread when it's made. Thank you again for watching. Hope you enjoy it.